issues of linking them to the SDGs and SDG 11 in particular. It's great to see this transformation by ignoring sustainable development for many years in the discussions of the COP, of the negotiations within the UNFCCC. And now we see the SDGs are becoming not just part of the story, but the holistic framework that we should really be conducting our business. At the end of the day, climate action is very important, and that's why we are here. We have the heads of state, heads of government, ministers, 100,000 plus of that participants, and millions around the world are following this event. But at the same time, it will never be impactful enough until we see this work within what is really substantive and more meaningful than just the way that we have been conducting business in a very reductionist approach. It's not just that. It's not just about focusing on SDG 13 in isolation. Even when we're talking about climate action in the past, another reductionist approach has been adopted by only focusing on decarbonization emissions. Very important. Mitigation is essential. If we are not doing what we should be doing in mitigation, we are stuck in enormous resources required for adaptation, and that's why we are as well in need for a loss and damage fund, because this is the third line of defense after mitigation and adaptation. Good news is that last year two things happened. One is basically when we started to take finance more seriously, we found, as we should, that actions in SDGs are basically the ones that are required for climate action. And climate action, climate finance is essentially development finance and SDG in action. We do better in mitigation. This is SDG 7. We are doing better in the spend out of opportunities adaptation agenda of Sharm el-Sheikh, because in the past people were just talking about adaptation without knowing what we're talking about. Now in adaptation, based on the Sharm adaptation agenda, we know it's about water management. Work of the cities cannot really survive without that. We are talking about a food system and agriculture. Yes, there are some cities that are trying to be producers of food. Good luck with this. But part of the ecosystem at the end. You cannot live without food in cities or other dwelling beyond cities. But this issue is being handled as well in the ecosystem of having livable cities with the minimal contribution to the emissions. But more is basically about the investment in resilient cities, in resilient building, in greening the infrastructure at large. And you cannot do that as an afterthought. If you lose it, you build it. The way you fix it, I'm speaking in the presence of the experts, it will be very difficult. So it's all about better design, planning, and then comes finance. Finance is better. I'm saying that I'm a person who's spending my whole life doing just finance, but I'm always saying that finance is not just about funding. It's a way of bringing a system approach to the matter. It's an issue of discipline. It's a matter that needs to be taken seriously when we are mobilizing all resources, domestic and external, public and private, mobilizing them all towards achieving a particular target. And by that, we'll be seeing all of the actions in climate action, all of the actions in the SDGs need to be designed better. I refer you to two reports. There is a competition on loudspeakers here, but I'll finish, and good luck to the next speaker after me. What we like to see really is these gaps reports are bridged. We have the important report commissioned by Egypt and the UK, and then by Egypt and UAE, led by Vera Songa and Nextern, about the $2.4 trillion of investments, $1 trillion from external sources and 1.4 from domestic sources. What you are doing in cities is very critically important because the bulk of finance is related to what cities consume, produce, and the kind of infrastructure, including energy, that is required behind this. So as far as you can be more cost effective, more efficient, thinking of a system approach, and as engineers and experts, there is nobody, well, at least my daughter always tries to convince me as a young engineer that she is better than economists in the system approach and the ecosystem. Good luck in this competition. But the whole thing is basically about a better system approach with realizing the comparative advantage and disadvantage of all of the players and partners, from public to private. Philanthropy has started to have a very important role. Civil society have an important role. Otherwise, we'll be always talking about gaps, and gaps are widening without bridging them. Solutions are there. Money is there in the overall system, but the opportunities will definitely be enhanced better when you manage to convince the different partners that you have a better model than others. I'm very optimistic, especially with this COP, with the successful announcements of good, adequate finance coming from the Green Climate Fund, and I encourage you to do business with the GCF, especially for working low-income and middle-income countries. Now they are doing more in adaptation and solutions for energy. There are many projects in this neighborhood. By that I mean Arab countries and African countries that they want to do more, but you need really to submit your proposals fast. Now they are $13 billion richer, so you can really go and tap on their resources. The $30 billion that came from the UAE as an opportunity for investment is basically about opportunities that could really be leveraged for better work in cities. And of course, there is the celebration of the loss and damage. I hope that you are going to be doing an excellent job. This is a fund that is better not to be used if we are doing the better job. We don't need to have the losses or damages to have the loss and damage fund to do its rescue plans for. Having said that, it's an opportunity to thank you for your leadership, for your good work, and we're here as climate champions, as GFANS Africa as well, which I'm leading, and there is a great deal of work with the group led by a man who spent a great deal of his life in developing cities, Mr. Bloomberg, with my good friend Mark Carney and Mary Shapiro. This is a way as well, because we are going not just talking global, but we are discussing matters at the regional level, but coming with the leadership of a very successful city leader, one of the biggest and most vibrant cities in the world, in New York. I think we can really rely on you more for partnerships, especially in Africa and the Arab countries. I wouldn't say anything, but being more inclusive, yes, the rest of the world as well can get some of your attention wherever you are. Thank you so much, and all the best.